So when I'm looking through this team, we're talking about, priority and things like that. I don't think this team wins a Super Bowl without a Chris Godwin in the slot. I just don't think they get there. I don't think they win it. I don't think they run the football with the authority that they do. I don't think they win this. I don't think they win a Super Bowl without Sue and those defensive tackles creating one-on-one situations on the outside.
To pick up on Godwin, because this is the we are end of the room today, and for this week, absolutely. Chris Godwin, third-round draft pick, is finishing a 4-year, $3.2 million contract. It is time for him to get paid. And I will say this, and I love these stories, and I always wonder who these people are. At his pro day several years ago at Penn State coaches told me that NFL scouts were saying to them, but is he going to make plays at the next level? Is he a playmaker? The answer is yes and yes. And if you didn't think so, maybe you need to look back at your notes again.
And it's because Chris Godwin isn't a big talker. He's not a guy that at the end of a game is going to say, look at me after every play, look at me. Now, he's getting a little some of that now. He's, has some success. But this guy just goes to work every day, works hard, and makes plays. What else can you ask for a Super Bowl champion wide receiver?
Absolutely. So we hope Chris Godwin, one way or another, we're getting him paid today. And one more thing real quick, guys. JPP and Levante David played for the same junior college. Good luck to those men who tried to block them way back when. How's that?
I don't want to believe it. I think
you don't want to believe what?
I don't want to believe that he's playing somewhere else. So I think he's playing for the Texans in Week 1. I think they find a way to repair this. I know that he's come out and made a big, made a big stand that he doesn't want to be a part of the organization, and he's upset about the way that they've handled some things and not included him. But I think when the dust settles, I think Deshaun Watson is going to realize that he could still find a way to repair this relationship. And I think, look, it's on the organization to extend the olive branch and to find a way to make this work. Now, the one kicker in this is that the Texans don't have a draft pick in this draft for the first 2 rounds. So they need some assets and they need some equity. But I think Deshaun Watson is just too good of a player. And I think if you're the Houston Texans, after just trading DeAndre Hopkins a year ago, I've said this before, if you are in management for the Houston Texans and you want to go out to dinner in the next couple of years and you want to feel safe eating your entree, you cannot trade DeAndre Hopkins in 1 year and then Deshaun Watson the next year and think that people down in Houston are not going to be upset. We just heard Eagles fans upset about trading Carson Wentz. Deshaun Watson has been the face of the franchise, and not just on the field, but off the field. He's been so impactful, and I just feel like it would be a total miss if the Houston Texans cannot find a way to repair this.
Is the toothpaste out of the tube already? Like, there's nothing, repair what? Look, they might be upset with that, but what if they got Christian McCaffrey, Teddy Bridgewater, 3 first-round picks, and Robbie Anderson in a trade, which is all possible. That's how good Deshaun Watson is. At 25 years old, I think he's a top 5 quarterback in the league. I'm going to say I can't imagine them trading him. So I'm going to say he will be Week 1. They'll have to figure it out. But gosh, he's not happy, and they have to make a decision before the draft. That's what I look at it as. Because free agency, this quarterback carousel is going to happen. You don't want that draft to go by, and then all of a sudden you're looking in May, and he really says, I'm not ever suiting up for you again. And you got A.J. McCarron and nothing else on your roster because you didn't trade him. So to me, as of right now, February, I believe he will be, because I know, talking to people around the league, Nick Caserio, the GM of the Texans, he's not even picking up the phone. Like, they call the Texans up, and they're like, let's talk compensation.
So they've drawn the line in the sand. He ain't going nowhere.
He's not going anywhere. But it might not be his decision, because if Deshaun Watson, and you're saying he's making a big public thing, Deshaun Watson hasn't said crap publicly. I'm hearing this from his camp, and we hear from rumors and reporters, and when you have a mass blast of every NFL insider having the same report that he's requested a trade, it does come from his camp. And yet, if Deshaun Watson wants to take it to that next level and really get out of Houston, it's going to take him coming out and saying, I will never wear that jersey again. And that might be what pushes their hand. He hasn't done that yet. And until he does that, I think he's a Houston Texan. It's just too good a player to just trade, even if they've got a great package in return.
Totally agree with you, Peter. And I'm not sure Deshaun Watson is going to burn bridges and do that. I know I know he wants to get out. He's requested to get out. I've always been one under the school of thought is if a player doesn't want to be there, let him go. Eventually, it's going to permeate through your locker room. room. I think this Texans organization hasn't been run exactly right over the last couple of years. They've let some high-profile players go. Sean, to your point, yes, I think they do need to extend the olive branch, but because Deshaun Watson is the face of a franchise, he's such a good player, why haven't they consulted with him? Why haven't they talked to him like they said they would, like other organizations do franchise quarterbacks when you're making big decisions?